Mapitso for the details. Now, the Attorney General has been ordered by an Accra High Court to submit the full complement of the evidence he intends to rely on for the prosecution of Chinese national Aisha Huang. She's standing trial for alleged role in illegal mining activities in the Ashanti region. Now, the AG on October 11 told the court it was ready for the trial and will disclose all evidence to be used. It, however, emerged in court today that the documents had not been submitted. Deputy AG Alfred Tuayeboa explained that his officers were at the registry filing the documents. Aisha Huang is accused of being a mastermind of galamsey operations in the Ashanti region. Deputy AG Alfred Tuayeboa has been speaking to the press.
The understanding was that you're going to comply with the orders for disclosure. I mean, why have you not been able to do that today?
We have complied with it, but it wasn't within time, as I told the court. As we speak, it's been done. The whole thing is, if for a case like what we have at the moment, you need to dot the I's, cross the T's, make sure all the documents are made available to counsel on the other side. That's what we've done. So on the next agenda, definitely we are going to move on.
I mean, and are you ready to go on with this? I mean, the other lawyer on the other side was making the point that you had wanted to withdraw some of the documents that you had found.
Yes, witness statements. So the new ones that we have filed, we've incorporated the old ones into them. So on the next agenda, it's a matter of just withdrawing the old one, and we have this full complement of the witness statement.
Thank you.
That was Deputy AG Alfred Tuayeboa. Now to other stories. A 26-year-old woman has died in what neighbors say was the result of her toilet sinking into a pit dug under her house by illegal miners at Odumwase in the Ashanti Achim Central Municipality. Now, the body of Gifty Manka was retrieved with an excavator earlier Sunday, sparking fears about the possible collapse of residential facilities in the town due to illegal mining. The incident reveals widespread mining within residential facilities at Odumwase and the associated threats of life. Lava Frame's Rasa Sasari Donko was at the scene and now reports.
This amateur video shows final moments when an excavator dug out the remains of Gifty Manka, 26, who close friends say was. Her death tells a tragic tale of the dangerous impact of mining in residential facilities at Odumwase in the Ashanti Achim Central Municipality. So imagine waking up in the morning and deciding to visit the nature's call. What is supposed to be a natural activity turns out to be your death. This is what happened here today at Odumwase in the Ashanti Achim Central Municipality. The lady in question, a young woman who lives in this house, was attending to nature's call. The entire structure in which she was doing her business collapsed in a heap, went down into what is supposed to be a mining pit. Now, if you look around this area, there are lots of these pits within these houses at Odumwase actively mining. And this is what caused the death of a lady here. Where I'm standing right now, just close to me, inside here, you could see another pit inside this house, and it goes deep down. And that is what the indigents here, this is how they do their illegal mining. The entire residential toilet sank into the deep pit beneath the building, as recounted by a resident.
Yeah, it's a result of the galamsey. It's not about the toilet. And we have to speak the truth. And we need to stop it. And we have to come together as a nation to stop this galamsey madness. But we cannot allow this galamsey to go on in our houses. You know this lady who died this morning, she's not beneficiary of the mining, but she has died this morning because of somebody being a beneficiary of that mining.
This sprawling Odumwase Apipose community is dotted with underground pits dug in homes, linking each other in what could be described as a hanging town. The practice of mining inside houses, which dates years back, is getting worse. The impact of continuous digging beneath houses could be seen in the huge cracks and the sinking earth around buildings in the town. To the ordinary eye, this is a normal residential compound house. But inside it, we found deep pits laced with wooden steps that go several meters down. We were shown a number of such houses at Udumase. Residents are angry.
Information. We feel when I see developing phobia day. At the toilet to was saying, "Oh, this is say Kronankasa." At the party for Sasia, and I had Jumano, a film, met me the Marco house to house. I move to be, I be fear about the menstrual. A fear, Bruno was so away, one and yes, canny. God, we must send one. I'm can cry a day around because but some fear 2030 yet to go home because he can't answer yet.
Police sources say they've heard of the pits and mining in residential facilities, but cannot barge into private homes without a warrant. This you see here, this gate does not lead to any storeroom in any building. This, if you peep through, leads to an illegal mining site under this building. There is a pit in here, barricaded with wood, which goes deep down. And that's the kind of illegal mining people here do at Udumase in the Asante Achim Central District. Many of these houses here have pits similar to this one in there. So when people go into their houses, they are not going to sleep. They are going in there to mine illegally. And all these houses are at risk of collapse. Reporting for JoyNews, Erastus Asaredonko, Udumase, Asante Achim Central Municipality.
Still on Galamsey, the Chehine Osajefo Amwatia Ofori Penin says every successor who can't protect the heritage of his predecessor is an irresponsible successor. Addressing a congregation of the St. Mark Anglican Church at Chebi on the occasion of inauguration of the Chebi Anglican Archdeaconry, Osajefo Amwatia Ofori Penin emphasized the need for the current generation of leaders to preserve and protect the heritage of Ghana.
National House. Sebidi excavator a den at Tiwa Forest. What is an excavator doing at Tiwa Forest? A Tiwa Forest excavator come up with it. You talk for how you see that how the excavator go at Tiwa Forest. According. No cross a woman Kualana as the only scan on their top excavator. They have no money. And in Penina, attention was an own yai. Own yai. If the Ghana no say what do Ghana, who sign the Japadi open here, you did Japadi jow. Who buy ya, who are 1 year bianca home, never 2 years no send, what penny money.
The government is again being urged to take drastic steps, including reshuffling its appointees to cut costs and restore confidence in the distressed economy. The finance minister continues to be identified as one person who must exit office. A minimum of 14 CDs is needed to get $1, and experts fear the situation could worsen this week. There's more in the following report.
We are not going to the IMF. Whatever we do, we are not.
Mr. Foriata has been under pressure since government opted for an IMF program. He, however, continues to enjoy support from President Akufo-Addo.
I came to office in 2017. Good. Under an IMF program, which Emmanuel Biden said, stringent program. This same man was able to manage the affairs of our economy in such a way, sir. The first 4 years of my first term, we were one of the fastest growing economies in the world, an average growth rate of 7% a year from the beginnings of an IMF program.
Economist Professor Godfred Bokpin ever say he lacks the capacity to continue to lead the negotiations with the IMF.
Anytime we are outside an IMF program, the fund the development partners, they are a bit lenient with their comments, more diplomatic. But when you come under a program, you've lost your bargaining power. So you see how they are coming hard at us now. They are asking you to prove this.
Show proof, yeah.
So last year you were not under any program, so they could understand your assumptions. You can explain that, oh, how about this debt? Oh, you know, this is ring fence, this is that, this is this is that. But right now, they are saying everything must come on board. So especially when you check in such a vulnerable state, you don't have, you can't negotiate from position of strength. We shouldn't have gotten ourselves in this place. To come out of this, as I said, what the market is looking for is that bold decision from the government that says that, look, and it may have to be a bit radical, which means that you are sacrificing your interest and the interest of your inner core and your political party for the common good. Other than that, if you tell me that these people have performed excellently, then probably it will be for reasons not for the common good.
A view shared by some men of the pulpit.
But wrong is wrong. When you are wrong, I need to look in your eyes and tell you, you are wrong. That is what is killing this nation. This is the time, Your Excellency, to make changes. And those changes must be to the honor and glory of God. Our finance minister, who even though is a Christian, have failed miserably. And I am telling Your Excellency, with all due respect, this is the time to make drastic changes. We cannot sit here when $1 is equal to 12 cedis. 12 cedis!
Milk, which was 2 Ghana cedis, now 8, 7. How would a mother buy milk and put in a tea or porridge for her children? In less than 24 hours, our cedi had depreciated against the dollar from 1390 to 15,000. Is 15? 16. It's now 16. Recently, the vice president arrested a cedi and locked it. Is it the dollar or the cedi? The dollar. The dollar, and locked the dollar up. I think the dollar has broken jail.
Meanwhile, President Akufo-Addo is urging the citizenry to have faith in him in seeing them through the current economic crisis. According to him, there are better days ahead.
President Akufo-Addo, who attended the event as part of his 3-day weekend visit to the Eastern region, recognized the current state of the economy and admitted Ghana is in difficult times. He encouraged Ghanaians to believe in him with the ultimate goal of changing the narrative.
Bishop Anansi, Papa. My friend says, some okay, you know, no shame and crying. Some mommy him, because we need GDA when Yankopo move. No, how Ghana for a firm will say, I can't now. When Yankopo be mammy quine, me a dear firm, and my Ghana. The 82. The mestre, Munya Jiji Womimu, Munya Jiji Womimu, Yabe Yabefamu, this too shall pass. So when the other man require Macanabro from you, this too shall pass.
The Bishop of Kofridia Diocese of the Anglican Church, Right Reverend Felix Odei, advised Akufo-Addo to continue to strengthen his faith in God.
Yenya jidie we radimu na yesi ye a Christopher dia yenko yenkodwo danyim ye mompaye na yensu mfre ye nyankopon se nyame omma omampanyin na boafo akwankyere na omfansesa ne mamfama yen eno ne nia esese Ghana-fo ye nyinara ye se ye Christopher na ye jidie fo dia yenko yenkodwo danyim na yensu mfre rade na yense rade se Oma mampanyi akwankyere na osesa ne mamfama yen omampanyi misrawo have a direct connection with your God. Have a direct connection.
Still on the economy, and specifically on the back of the free fall of the Sebidi, experts believe government's laxity in arresting the situation is a deliberate strategy. Banking lecturer Dr. John Baden has been giving reasons why when he spoke to me on News Desk earlier.
Or the city depreciate so that they realize more money at the port.
Okay.
Especially when their kitty is dry, when they need more money, or when they are in distress. They can let the city tank. Because see, if the city depreciates, there's always a marginal increment in duties. I mean, the revenues increase on a daily or even, by the hour. As anytime the rate changes, the next containers or next goods that must be cleared attracts a new value. And then they are realizing monies against a fixed budget.
Okay.
So in no time, then they would have probably had the money to take care of their fixed budget. The budget is fixed, but the revenue becomes variable. It changes. There's an incremental change in the revenues at port.
Okay, so how long will this crisis last? If we're looking
my lady, I can't tell you.
Okay.
I don't know. I hope it does, because I mean we are on the brink, and if it continues, I'm afraid it's not just the prices are increasing. People's income remains unchanged.
Yeah.
So then most households will be in disequilibrium. And when most households are in disequilibrium, I mean, the things fall apart.
Yeah.
Nothing can happen. Nothing will work in the system anymore.
Yeah.
It's a national security concern.
Poor parental control and poverty have been identified as key factors accounting for Ghana's increasing cases of teenage pregnancy and child marriage. Now, the challenges are impeding the ability of the girl child to attain her full potential, largely in formal education. To end the problem, government introduced a 5-year strategic plan to retain the girl child in school with or without pregnancy. The journey has, however, not been easy for girls in such situations. In the second part of a JoyNews Letters Hotline documentary dubbed Girls' School Pregnancy, we'll hear stories of some of these adolescents and actors in the education space on interventions being deployed to make life easy in school for them. Here is an excerpt.
Charity's partner, 23-year-old Destiny, is a sales boy in Accra. He goes back home occasionally to visit his family. It was during one of such visits that he got Charity pregnant. But from all indications, the couple has been having sex for close to 3 years without protection. He now regrets his actions.
You were not having sex so that you became pregnant?
No, I was scared, but
you were scared.
Yeah.
So why didn't you think about the maybe the condom or those things to stop you from getting her pregnant?
Okay, that would be my fault. Not using the condom or telling her to do family plan or something like that. That would be my fault.
Why? Why are you saying it's your fault?
Because I didn't use it.
Did she ask you to use it?
Nah. But me not making ready makes me that I did effort. I did a mistake. Yeah.
The second part of that documentary is tonight at 8:30 p.m. on DSTV channel 41 and GoTV channel 144. Now, Domi Kwamenya MP Sarah Ajasafo will know her fate this week when Parliament resumes from its 3-month recess. The MP had been absent for more than the constitutionally allowable days, with the Privileges Committee of the House recommending she lose her seat as MP. Speaker of Parliament Alwyn Bagwin will make the decision on the matter when the House reconvenes. Parliamentary correspondent Kweko Asante looks ahead to the big issues Parliament will be dealing with upon their return on Tuesday.
House on whether or not MP for Dom Kwabenya Sarah Ajasafo should keep her seat.
The Speaker, the committees of this House has the authority to determine the urgency of a bill. Once they make a determination, it binds all of us. Plenary has no business in this. People should understand that. So this is not the first time a committee is authorized to make a declaration for on behalf of the House.
And the Parliament of Ghana is not the Speaker of Parliament. And that the Parliament of Ghana is not the chairman of the Subsidiary Legislation Committee of Parliament. And that Parliament is not the majority leader, nor is it the minority leader. That the Parliament of Ghana is the well-constituted 275 members of Parliament elected thereon to exercise the legislative authority of Ghana on their behalf. On their behalf. And therefore, Mr. Speaker,
so a report has to come to this House, and the committee has to demonstrate to this House that the person was given the opportunity to exercise reasonable explanation, and the person did not provide reasonable explanation.
Speaker of Parliament Alban Bagbin deferred the decision to October when the House resumes.
I have consulted the old lady. The old lady has given me an advice, and I think that advice is correct, because the issue raised by the majority leader is both of substantive and procedural law. And I need time to submit to this House a reasoned, written ruling. I cannot, in the haste of today, give you the ruling.
Well, the time is due now, and with MPs returning from their constituencies on Tuesday, the Speaker's ruling is the most anticipated on the business agenda of the House. So this has been a long-drawn battle. The lines are drawn now. The majority side are going all out to argue that Sarah Adwoa-Safo should lose her seat, whilst the minority, surprisingly, are rather supporting the Member of Parliament, saying, if anything at all, that debate must come to the floor and the 275 members of Parliament should take that decision. It is expected to drag on for a while. When Parliament resumes in October, members will be expected to go back to this vexed question and take a decision that will potentially leave some precedent for the future. This Sarah Adwoa-Safo saga is not going away. Parliament will also deal with a number of key issues at this meeting, including considering the 2023 budget and economic plan of government in the times of economic difficulties and hardship, as well as a number of bills. For Joy News, Kweku Asante. 2 Joy News journalists have emerged winners at the West Africa Media Excellence Conference and Awards, WAMECA. Now, the 2, Kwetenate and Seth Kwame Boateng, jointly won the investigative reporting category. There's more in this News Desk report.
The 2-day event was hosted in Accra, Ghana, with participants from all over West Africa. The award scheme covers about 16 categories. Ghana was well represented with 5 finalists, 3 of which work with Joy News. For the Telecoms and ICT reporting category, Kwesi Deborah was a finalist, but Amos Abba from Nigeria won. Investigative journalist Kwetenate won the investigative reporting category with his undercover piece titled Busted Gold Smugglers. He won jointly with Seth Kwame Boateng, both of the Joy Newsroom. And for the ultimate category, the West African Journalist of the Year, of which both Kwetenate and Seth Kwame Boateng were finalists, Nigeria's Tessie Gomu won with her story on a Chinese recycling company polluting the Ogun community.
You're still watching Joy News today. We'll be back with more news after this. Thank you for staying with me. Now, workers at the Ghana Railway Company Limited are crying foul over what they describe as overwhelming debt burden on the company. According to the Ghana Railway Workers Union, already a passenger train and another manganese freight have been parked as a result of inadequate funds to purchase fuel. Now, the Railway Workers Union says the challenges, if not checked, may lead to a total shutdown of the rail sector. Richard Kojanyako joins us with details of the release by the workers. Richard, can you please share with us details in the release?
So they said that the railway sector has been struggling for some time now and it's gotten to a point that they cannot even buy fuel to power the trains. And so they are appealing to the president to intervene to avoid a total shutdown of the entire railway sector. And the statement was signed by Godwin Ntama. He is the PRO of the Railway Sector Workers Union of Ghana.
Yeah, Richard, continue.
Yeah, so that's in effect, that is what is in the statement, and they are appealing to the president to intervene. Yes. All
right. Now, well, please hold on for me because I understand that police in the central region have exhumed a body of an unidentified person buried at the beach at Birawa. Now, this adds to the number of cases of people killed and buried in the Mfantsiman municipality of the central region. So it is unclear what led to the death of the person and who may have buried the deceased, and the body has been deposited at the Cape Coast Teaching Hospital for autopsy. Richard Kojanyako, what have your sources been telling you about this development?
So my sources have been telling me that this body of the deceased was exhumed over the weekend, and it was at Biwa. They buried that person in or at the beach. And so the police had a tip-off and had to go and exhume the body from that space, and they have conveyed that body to the Cape Coast Teaching Hospital for autopsy. And so this really happened at Biwa. This is different from the Mankasim murder case because it is not related. The police also had tip-off at Mankasim where they suspected that there could be more bodies buried in the house of the chief of Aquacrum. And so they decided to go there, and so they checked inside the house. They dug the entire household to ensure or to check whether they would find more bodies, but they did not get more bodies. You know that the case has been in court for 3 consecutive times. The pleas of these accused persons have not been taken, and so the police want more time to investigate the matter to ensure that they did not leave anything behind. So the prosecution hasn't really started. They are still at the evidence gathering stage.
All right, thank you very much. That's my colleague Richard Kojanyako. Give us an update on those stories. You're still watching Joy News today. Up next is business. Hello, good afternoon and welcome to the business segment here on Joy News today with me, Beverly Broom. The Cybersecurity Authority, as part of moves to sensitize the public on the new cybersecurity regulation, has begun an engagement with civil society organizations in the country. The aim of the forum is to get the input of CSOs before it comes into force in January next year. Here's a report.
The Cybersecurity Authority has issued a notice to begin licensing professionals and firms that want to be engaged in the cyberspace from January 2023. According to the authority, this has become imperative due to the growing concern of attacks on the continent and the need for Ghana to have a regulation governing the industry. As part of the processes for the regulation, the authority is engaging stakeholders, including the civil society organizations, for their input before going ahead with the regulation. After addressing the CSOs in the forum, Deputy Minister for Communications and Digitalization Ama Puma Boateng said the move is critical to safeguarding the country's cyberspace.
As part of Cybersecurity Authority's mandate, we have to make sure that every digital citizen is safe online. So you would have to work from school kids, whether it's a farmer, it's a corporate person, it's government, it's civil service, it's public service, businesses, e-commerce. We use digital tools for everything now. So we would want to work with as many institutions as possible to educate them to share ideas with them, to show our challenges, the opportunities that can come out of this.
Member of the governing board for the Cyber Security Authority, Adelaide Bennett Prempe, told the participant that the authority is ready to receive their input on the legislation.
It's important to also say that the Cyber Security Authority has a very active set of social media handles. So I regularly visit the LinkedIn page, and information is constantly shared, and I know that the very hard-working management is present here with us, so they're taking on board all that you've said. But there are ways of getting information, there are ways of doing our bit in our own little corner to educate and also to share. So it's very good that you're all here, and thank you for your input. It will be reported back to the board and indeed the team, and we continue to work and rely on you all to make the Cyber Security Authority a dynamic one.
Civil society organizations were drawn from all sectors of the economy to be part of the engagement.
Now, the Ghana Tourism Authority says the provision of accurate data in the tourism sector has the potential to attract investors to help the growth of the industry. According to the Deputy Chief Executive Officer in charge of operations, Echo Sampson, enforcing the new regulation would also safeguard the safety of revealers. He made the remarks at an orientation and training workshop for the implementation of the new tourism site regulation for stakeholders in Sunyani.
Implementation of the new tourism site regulations LI 2393 is to help improve the standards at the various tourist sites. This includes the collection of data, access to road security and well-being of visitors, among others. At a day's forum in Sunyani to orient stakeholders in the Bono East and Ahafo regions, the Ghana Tourism Authority said the new regulations have categorized sites with provisions intended to check the activities of operators. Joseph Apieje is the regional director.
Because it is not developed and most of them too are also not manned by those with expertise, that's why we've put together this workshop to expose them, brainstorm them, and give them requisite knowledge so that the new paradigm shift that we require from them, the new ways of managing the attraction sites, they can adjust easily.
Communications consultant, Ghana Tourism Development Project, Zakaria Tanko Musa, said things must be done differently for the sector to challenge the traditional source of income.
You cannot have a sector that wants to challenge the traditional source of income. You can't have them just operating the way they have to operate. And if we want to compete, and we have a comparative advantage in the sub-region when it comes to tourism, arts and culture. But the only way we can compete favorably is to make sure we are positioning ourselves in a way that meets international standards. And one of the ways of doing that is to have some sort of regulation to regulate us.
The Deputy Chief Executive Officer in charge of operations at GTA, Echo Simpson, indicated that the authority is determined to enforce the new regulations in the interest of the growth of the sector and safeguard the safety of revelers. He also said accurate provision of data on tourist sites could help investors in decision-making.
What we are saying is that without the necessary data on arrival, how many people visited maybe Kintampo, it helps you to even know how well they are performing. And then also for decision-making, in terms of performance, it will also help you to, for investors. If investors want to come in and invest and the figures are very low, then they would like to see whether they have to put their money there or not. So it is important for us to have data. Data will help us to know whether the country is doing well in terms of domestic tourism arrival, even international tourist arrival. It also helps us to measure our performance as far as the tourist sites are concerned.
The stakeholders like the GTA appealed for private sector investment in the tourist site and develop new ones to boost the revenue generated. Precious Semevo, JoyNews, Sunya.
And that's all for business. We have more business when you log on to myjoyonline.com/business. My name is Beverly Broom. Have a good afternoon.
Let's do sports here on JoyNews today with me, Muftau Nabila Abla. A 2019 Ghana Football Association presidential candidate, Fred Papo, has ruled himself out of the 2023 elections of the football governing body. He explained that it is energy sapping to campaign for the position of president of the Ghana FA, and moreover, he says the elections have been monetized.
Because they are delegates. Because they are delegates. Delegates know what they vote for and who they vote for.
Based on the track record that you've had at the, at the national team, at the GFA, don't you think that you deserved at least good votes more than you got? You got 6.
No. I could have even gotten less. That's what I'm saying. Of course, I must respect the delegates. I must respect their views. I must respect their choices. But what you should understand is that you cannot force somebody to choose and prioritize his parameters. So maybe you may look at something more than you expect him to look at, or in a more different way. It may not necessarily look at track record. It may not, there are a lot of parameters that people look out for, you know. So, but you just have to.
And the crazy thing is that I do recall having a conversation with one of the presidential candidates who actually said the elections were expensive. Have we politicized or have we monetized politics, football politics?
You mean
the GFA elections 2019?
I think all elections in Ghana are monetized. Sadly, you can hardly think of any elections in Ghana which are normal. I'm sure even in churches. You know,
even in churches?
I think so. all elections, they are monetized one way or materialized.
Yes.
You know, if they don't give you money, maybe there might be some material exchange or some expectation of material or financial gains after, or in case your candidate.
So you think if you had money, you probably could have had better?
Not a matter of me having money. It's a matter of me deciding to spend my money that way.
So you refuse to spend it on delegates?
I could have had money at that time to do that, but maybe I didn't decide. I didn't see any reason to do that.
On a hindsight, do you think you should have? Because as someone...
No, I have no regrets. I have no regrets that I got 6 votes at all. I'm a freer person now. My junior brother and good friend Kate is carrying
the pressure. As a policy analyst, next year there will be GFA elections. Would you consider to go and develop policies for the GFA?
No. You mean to go and contest or develop policies?
No, contest for FA leadership again.
No, I wouldn't. I don't have the energy.
You've given up?
I've not given up, but I don't have the energy. You know, just one basic thing. Yes. You know you have to tour the regions of Ghana. Yes. That in itself is physically exerting. I don't think I have the...
And financially draining.
Oh, the financial... Interestingly, there were so many people who came up with all manner of gifts and support for my campaign. So the financing wasn't a problem.
In the next 27 days, the FIFA World Cup will get underway in Qatar with the opening match of the tournament. And today, we'll bring you Joy Sports World Cup moments. This is how we wrap up sports on JoyNews today with me, Muftau Nabila Abdullahi.
Time now for the latest update in the world of entertainment. My name is KMJ. Celebrated music producer and executive producer, Pan-Africanist Panji Enough has explained the role of music in shaping society. According to him, music is the only way to tell the truth and not journalism.
After working for the BBC for a while, I realized journalism is not the place to tell the truth. Journalism always has an agenda. So I felt the only place I can tell the truth is in music, because in music there's no censorship. There is, if people like your song, they will repeat it. If they don't, that's it.
But you've just called all of us liars.
We journalists here, we never tell the truth. There is no journalist in Ghana, I cannot find one statement that they have made which is inaccurate. Highly inaccurate.
Start with me.
It's okay.
Start with me.
Not today. Not today.
I'm challenging you.
Journalism.
Ask him if he's a journalist.
Okay, every proper journalist lies.
And that's Panji Enough in the studios of Joy 99.7 FM on Showbiz A to Z. Away from that, speaking about artists he had enjoyed working with, the music producer mentioned Kina Isoba and One Love the Kobolo and gave reasons why he enjoyed working with them.
I started working with Isoba about 7 years before his first album came out.
Okay.
So, and I started working with Isoba, one, because I thought his potential was incredible, but also because he was using his own language. So if Isoba speaks English, he will speak his English anyhow he can speak it. If he's speaking Frafra, he will speak it how he likes. If he's speaking Tree, he will speak it how he likes. And this for me was a very important distinction. So I wanted to work with Isoba to teach and prove to the other artists I was working with that, you know, you don't need slangs to make hip-hop, you don't need patois to make dancehall, you don't need, you know, in it to do trap or whatever. You know, let's use whatever language comes most naturally to us. So even though I've been trying to work with Pidgin and indigenous languages for 30 years, Isoba was the one who kind of epitomized it, because you know his music doesn't depend on language at all. But if it's English, he'll speak Pidgin. If it's Tree, he'll speak Pidgin Tree. If it's maybe his own language, he can speak quite perfectly. But any other language that he decides to sing in, he doesn't feel the need to speak somebody else's kind of that language. He will create his own, knowing full well that it's music, you will understand me. You know, with music, you don't have to put words in exactly. It doesn't have to be grammatically correct.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be, you know, syntax and form and structure. Those things don't matter. It's just, Charlie, you can say whatever you want and people will understand you.
So you enjoyed working with him the most?
I've really enjoyed working with Isoba a lot. I have always enjoyed working with One Love because he's very hardworking.
Definitely.
You know, One Love doesn't, in terms of hardworking, I would say, you know, One Love is one of the hardest working people I know. And people often think music is about talent. I've never had much faith in talent. I've always believed, you know, hard work is the key to success. Sure, having some talent can help you, but no matter who you are, in order to sustain a career over any period of time, it's going whether you are going to succeed or fail. And sometimes we see one-hit wonders. Sometimes it's the lack of a work ethic. So you can get lucky. Sometimes it's not luck. You still worked for it, but if your work ethic, you lose momentum. So really, talent, don't value your talent. You know, value your work.
And that's Panji off in the studios of Joy 99.7 FM. Apologies for the sound over there. But that was going to be all for entertainment this afternoon here on News. My name is KMJ. For more news, log on to www.myjoyonline.com. Maps.
Thank you very much, KMJ, for the updates in the world of showbiz. And that is how we end this bulletin. You can log on to myjoyonline.com. For more news, you can also go to our Facebook page, Joy News on TV, for all the trending news. My name is Mapitso Sebidi. Enjoy the rest of your afternoon.